What on earth is that? It's a Journey into Comics Network production! All aboard!
I brought my pencil! Yeah! Like anything gets to say like you did before. Make it green, make it bleed, make it really so.
What's up, Duderinos? Welcome back to Rank 'em All, the show where a couple of dudes, dudettes, Duderinos, and the overall peoples of rankness, because we're pretty ranked. We rank all these songs, all the albums, right down that sucker, and we get all the ranks for every single band that we're going to rank. We have a lot of bands that we're going to rank. We are continuing on the path down our intro into grunge. Well, this album's maybe not so grunge, but it's something else. This is the self-titled Alice in Chains record. I am one of your hosts, Brando, but of course, as always, I'm not alone. This wouldn't be quite the ranking show if it was one dude ranking all this stuff, because that would just be my opinion. No, we are a collective. We are Legion. Joining me here today is the Podfather, Nate Phillips.
I don't want to be ranked, Brando. That sounds bad. Oh, that sounds like I'm stinking. I don't want to be stinking, so I'm not taking that bait today.
Okay.
I'm so
Look,
sorry,
we're filthy. We got the dankness.
Okay, look.
That's a totally different game.
We
I
got
know
the dankness. We got the funk.
I know what business you're in, Nate, and I just want you to know that back in the day they called it a smoking jacket for a reason, because it's the fabric that absorbed the smoke that was in the air. That way you could take it off when you went somewhere else and no one would know.
Okay.
At the risk of sounding judgmental or a little bit not necessarily harsh, I don't think that anyone would look at Nate and go, I wouldn't think he smoked pot. There's no smoking jacket that's going to take that image away from you. I love you, man. I truly love you, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
judged by the sheer number of Casey's
I am
Buffalo
what I am,
boneless
that's all I am.
wings.
Judged by
may
the
they
hat,
rest in
Yes.
peace. May they
judged
rest
by
in
the
peace.
hat
They're
with the
gone.
gun on it.
They are permanently gone, bro. They changed their menu. Casey's is update here on Rank 'em All. Casey's General Store has changed their menu. We no longer have the most delicious boneless buffalo wings. They have resigned them to these boring, just flavorless wings, and you get dipping sauces. It's not the same. Anyways, Brando, thanks for welcoming me to the show.
Yeah.
Buckles, welcome to the show. Talk
Welcome
now.
back.
Do your thing.
Welcome back to Rank 'em All gas station food.
One day it'll
Dude,
happen.
I
Once
am all about that. Like, don't
Taco
even
pizza is top three. Easy.
don't even front. Like, I am
As-
about that.
as someone who is on the road for work daily, I am a big member of the cult of roller hot dogs. Don't get me wrong.
You're gonna catch AIDS on that, bro. What are you doing? Roller hot dogs? Oh,
Dude,
that's just
seriously.
there was some
they're
cartoon.
amazing.
I don't know what cartoon it was, and they had a roller hot dog, and there was like a cat hair and like some lint and some other shit on the hot dog.
they're
That's
called
what-
condiments, Nate.
Depends on where you go.
Condiments.
Get your ass to a Love's truck stop,
Okay.
because they're the best quality. Get yourself some roller hot dogs, some smoked sausage. You'll thank me later.
I'm all
I'm
about
not eating
like a
good
good,
Some
It's not happening.
tornadoes.
some
I
good.
eat like one meal a day,
Yeah.
and I don't want that meal to result in diarrhea. So I will respectfully refrain from the tornado.
We're
sir.
renaming it Lava Bottom. Let's go.
Joining us also here today is the one and only Tyler McLaughlin. Thank you for joining us here today, Tyler.
I'm glad that we could finally nail down a time. You know, the holidays are obviously tough, just schedule wise. And then obviously, trauma. We all love that. It's the American way. It's kind of what grunge is about, like, hey, everything sucks. And we're going to
That's why
tell
I
you
have
about
this
it.
heroin addiction.
And now I have this heroin addiction.
Not me personally. I don't.
Damn it, Nate. It's got you again.
That damn gateway
I can tell
drug.
you, no one looks at me and thinks that.
Trying to hide those track marks with your long sleeves. Guys, we're talking about Alice in Chains, the self-titled album. Of course, the last episode we did was the EPs. And, of course, that was a neat little different kind of avenue for them to put out, because it was a little bit more acoustic, a little bit more experimental. And, of course, now we're heading into the third album. And I would say experimental is the word, because grunge and alternative metal has been sort of the genre. You know, this is a band that kind of speaks to both realms, that Seattle grunge rock realm, and then they can easily go on tour with Metallica or something and feel right at home due to their style. However, this album is the very first album that has listed, according to the sages of wisdom at Wikipedia, doom metal and sludge metal
That's very apropos.
as
Very apropos.
as genres on this record, and of course we are going to get into it. But you know, this album was not without its harsh maybe background, because right after Jar of Flies, which was the last EP that we had ranked, Layne in rehab for his heroin addiction. Now, you know, we were joking about it before, and he did. He tried to go take care of that. And of course, we would ultimately know. I mean, this is the last album with Layne. This is the last studio album with Layne Staley. And we are gonna, after this, we are gonna, in honor of Layne, rank the Unplugged album, which won't count to the overall album ranks, but we're gonna do it because, I mean, I think I can speak for every single one of us that there's something special about that Unplugged set.
You used the word I was going to use, special.
Yeah, dude, it's one of a kind, and I'm glad that it is one of a kind.
Absolutely. So this album definitely kind of comes across as maybe a little bit just different. Cantrell, this is a very interesting quote that is probably going to come back around later. Our music is about taking something ugly and making it beautiful. Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the album with the three-legged dog on the cover.
So the album was also known as Tripod. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's a nickname
Did not
for
know
the.
that. I was not aware of that.
But yeah, you know, as Tyler alluded, it has been a minute since we have got together and had a chance to dive into this, and so I'm trying to gather my bearings about some of the info. And this album, it was not as successful as Dirt, but it debuted at #1 on the 200. Wow. And it stayed on the charts for 46 weeks for nearly a year. And
wow.
It has sold over 2 million copies in the United States, 3 million copies worldwide. The band was obviously on a roll, because if you think about it, like, they had Dirt and then Jar of Flies, and we already mentioned that. We already mentioned it when we ranked Jar of Flies. This was a 1-2 punch with Dirt and Jar of Flies.
Well, you've also got Sap right before that, where they were really going strong into Dirt as well.
It was they ramped it up, and then with Dirt they hit that magic button. They captured that lightning in the bottle with their sound, with their commercial appeal, even
to their presence in the industry.
Yes, and then of course that garnered more attention. So the next thing that they released, we talked about it. It was just as good, and while being a completely different type of deal.
You know,
new player has entered the game.
I wondered what I was hearing there.
Oh, I know that sound anywhere.
What's up, kid?
Hello. Welcome to Rank 'Em All. We have a guest ranker.
The youngest of the McLaughlin clan.
Yeah. See?
Yep.
See you. Yeah.
Hey.
Hello.
All right, you're gonna hang out for just a second.
It's not a Wookiee, it's Buckles.
Yeah.
Is tonight a bop or a bap night, Tyler?
We bapping or bopping tonight? We're bapping.
Bap.
So there were 3 singles off of this, and we'll talk about them as we come across them. As always, all of the music was written by pretty much everybody had a hand in it, and I'll try and update that as we go along. Jerry Cantrell only wrote lyrics for 3 songs. And I'll note that when we get there as well.
I can absolutely believe that too.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, especially, you really try and absorb you really try and absorb the lyrics as you go through the album. And it doesn't, even before I looked into it, I could tell immediately that it wasn't Jerry's writing for sure.
Right. Yeah. So like obviously a very successful album. The band opted not to tour on the record, adding to the rumors of drug abuse. Was that me?
No, I don't think so.
I heard a very loud noise in my room and was wondering if someone was trying to say something or if it was my phone vibrating.
It's the ghost of Blaine trying to get into the episode.
He is trying to
stop us from talking about it.
He wants the attention, man. He just wants in on this stuff. He would jump in right now. He wants so badly to have friends. And you know what? No, he's not allowed. So we are going to continue on with this rank, guys. We're going to go right down the list. Of course, this album was released November 7th, 1995. So right smack dab in the middle of the 90s, the album was recorded in Seattle. And we're kicking it off with the first single released the month before, October 6th, 95, with Grind. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say, because this was a bit of a departure in terms of tone, in terms of what's the right mood for sure, but
stylistically, definitely.
Yes, and it was a step in a different direction. I'm not going to sit here and bash them for trying something new or trying a new sound, because I love when bands do it.
Right, for sure.
Because it shows that they're willing to take a step out of their comfort zone. Grind starts off with this chunky little riff. It reminds me of like even a little bit of a sound of like a Soundgarden type vocal. Like in spots, especially for the verse. But kicking it off with a song, I mean, this is the first single. It's a step down for me, coming in from Dirt and from Jar of Flies. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, and predicated on what he was hinting at in the chat, I'll let Buckles go first.
Well, I will kind of echo you in saying that this is definitely a departure from their normal sound. And to me, this is out of their studio releases, this one I listened to the least amount. Probably my least favorite of their studio releases.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the tone or the vibe that I kind of got from, especially this one, it's so mechanical, and it's in that riff. There's almost some Nine Inch Nails in this, just a little bit. I will kind of laugh because the first notes that I have here, and Nate, you'll get a laugh at this as well. This is good walkout music. This is good, like baseball, walking to the mound, or fucking wrestling music. Like,
okay, I want to interject.
That.
that was my first gut reaction listening to it at work, and I can imagine but it's not a big star. It's like an undercard guy. It's like
a Buff Bagwell type.
Not even Buff. It's like hardcore Holly walking out.
Yes. This is Crash Holly in the early Attitude Era. This is draws. I will say that I love the line in like the first verse of "In this darkest hole, you be wise not to plan my funeral, for my body dies." That is a fucking baller, badass line that the rest of the album does not match for the most part. Like, that is some attitude that's really kind of missing throughout most of this album.
Layne did say that when he wrote lyrics for this, he kind of just wrote what came off of his head. So
I can believe that.
When you're this album lyrically is definitely an insight to a different mindset from where he was in the previous albums, and partially due to his journey. But Ty, what you guys say about Grind?
It's funny. Hearing initially kind of what you said, Brando, what Buckles just said, this is the first I guess this is the first album that we've listened to that I've been maybe a little too hypercritical of, I think. But, I always got to second guess myself. But the big notes that I had from this one, solid start. I really like the way that it opened in the first minute and a half of the song. And then after about the 2-minute mark, I was ready for the song to be over. And I guess I'll go ahead and throw this out. My first initial note that I have is that the length of all these songs is just too long.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really what I got. I love the way that it opens. It's just, it's like a 7-minute long song that doesn't need to be that.
There's a couple that are like 6 and 8 minutes in this,
Mm-hmm.
in this album. It's really odd for them. So,
Definitely. Can you hear me?
yes, we
I
can
am
hear you.
live. Okay, cool,
Yes.
cool. Zoom freaked out on me while you guys were talking, and I'm like, panic mode. What do I do? So I solved it. Okay. Oh, you guys maybe have a different journey than I on this one, because I listened to this album literally at all times when I was taking it in to figure out my rankings, like literally everything I was doing, driving to work, driving home, doing the dishes. Anytime I was putting on music, the only thing at the time I was listening to was this Alice in Chains self-titled album. And I think I gave it, for the most part, pretty high marks. But to start just talking in general about grind, I think that right out the gate, they show you they're doing something totally different, like No Fear. It's sludgy. It's got these really weird, here's the word again, Brando, coming back from the Metallica run. Very angular. They get these weird angular notes that just, wow. They just like dive in there and gas you,
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that this is my biggest takeaway from grind. It has a pretty solid and well-meaning chorus that hits for whatever reason hits me. Like, let the sun never block your eyes, let me sleep so my teeth won't grind. That line alone, I'm just like, yes. So I like the guitar work. So let's say this. I like the guitar work about the song. I really enjoy the drums aren't overbearing it all on the song. There's never any point where you're like, God, too much cymbals or anything like that. They like refined and locked in. So they're still operating at a high level, but I think they're just really ready to take risks and breathe a little bit. And they were probably, you got to think these people were day in and day out knowing Layne and his journey and what he was going through.
Right.
And if they felt maybe concerned, if I'm concerned that someone I'm friends with is going through a thing that they might not come back from and they're a musician, give me all the music you can while you're here. Like, give me everything you've got. And I think that's what this album really is like Layne not crying for help per se, because I don't think he was, as much as just him releasing that last bit of himself before he left. It's very powerful. So to throw the rank down, I gave her a 7.25.
TY
6.5.
6.5.
Correcto.
Buckles.
Good walkout music, I think, is a good 7.5.
I gave it a 7.25 as well. I want to note that this is a Jerry Cantrell song. He wrote the music and the lyrics, and it is the only song that he completely wrote by himself, or at least is credited to by himself
Right.
on this song. That was something that I didn't really look at before we talked about it. But the next track, Brush Away.
Hey, Brando,
What's up?
real quick before we get away from it, there's one time you talked about Jerry, and I think this is just a apropos moment to cut in and throw this out before we talk about Brush Away. The dog on the cover
Mm-hmm.
is Jerry's dog.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it?
And it was Jerry's dog, whose name I do believe was Sunshine. And they put Sunshine on the cover, and the rest is history. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people Google. I Googled that because I didn't know that, and it was like the first. I didn't even get the entire thing out. The dog on Alice, and it was like Alice in Chains.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
I remember seeing that they went and had like this really. Oh, wait! I got some info. Let's establish this. This might have not have been Jerry's dog. Yeah, no, maybe Google lied to you. So the album also
How
an
dare the
article
goose.
from 2011, so it's a little out of date, I guess.
The image of the dog on the cover was inspired by a three-legged dog named Tripod that used to terrorize drummer Sean Kinney and chase him around during his paperwork duty, like as a kid, probably like delivering papers. And Rocky Schneck, that's a hell of a name, photographed a three-legged dog for the album cover at a playground near downtown Los Angeles. He did a casting call for three-legged dogs for the shoot. But the band ended up choosing a fax image of a three-legged dog as the cover because they thought it looked grittier, and Staley and Cantrell liked it better. Cantrell stated that Kinney, who had designed the artwork for the album, was pissed about that because they spent money for the photo shoot and did not even use it for the album cover. A different three-legged dog named Sunshine was used for the Grind music video. The photo of the dog shot by Shank at the playground was finally used years later on the 99 box set Music Bank. Contrary to rumor, none of the dogs for the photo shoot on the album cover belonged to Jerry Cantrell. He has said in interviews he did not know the owner of the dog.
I have to point out two things from the ADHD brain here. One, you said it was terrorizing him as a kid that would chase him. How hard is it to run away from a three-legged dog?
A lot harder than you think, bro, because you know what? Three-legged,
it's going to try a lot harder.
No, they don't even have a thing, and especially if they were born that way, they don't even have it in their head that they aren't a full dog. So they run like they're a full dog, bro. They go. They're like 3/4 of a dog. You know, they're missing that 1/4. But
the other ADHD brain moment, you said they had to do a casting call. Casting call for the dog. When you do a casting call,
I can imagine there's a black leather couch. There's a guy sitting there. So
you got to be really careful if you're in.
Show me about California. Your 3 legs.
You got to be really careful if you're in Southern California doing a casting call for a three-legged anything. Okay, moving on.
So Brush Away.
I thought we were talking about music.
Brush Away was written by Jerry Cantrell, Mike Inez, and Sean Kinney with lyrics by, of course, Layne Staley. And obviously, we're now established that the sound is very different and has a darker tone. This is a catchy beat, and vocals are a highlight on this song, actually. And a solo that sounds unnerving, but also not entirely unpleasant, is a talented achievement. I will now pass the baton to Tyler.
I'm right there with you, hand in hand. Catchy. I wrote it, underlined it twice, circled it, drew a little heart. Love the chorus, love the guitar in this song. That's pretty much the extent of my notes. I was looking here, I was trying to see if I could find anything else, but looking at the album, I've got all the run times, the songs here pulled up. I think that there's a trend, for me anyway, the songs that I've ranked very, very high, other than the ones that are kind of like timeless, they're all the songs with shorter run times. There's some songs later in the album that, I'd almost beg somebody just to cut the length in half, and but love this one.
Nate?
I don't know how I can take away from what Tyler just said, because it's really a lot of my same sentiments. It's really a well put together song. It's super catchy. Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of everything. The grungy riff going into what is actually the chorus riff, I guess you would say, is really, really fun. I love the high pitched
mm-hmm,
car. Yeah. Like that shit gets me every time. Like just jamming in the car. Like I'm about. I don't know. again, this is really weird because like I really like this album. And again, track one, you do that thing. We talked about it in a lot of the other podcasts when we talked about the first song setting the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And Grind sets the tone, but this sets the pace.
Yes.
Because they're like, hey, we're really not doing what you think we were going to do. This is us creating something unique. Just roll with it. I think that's what, as soon as I settled into like accepting that, this album quickly becomes a level of I wouldn't say favorite. It obviously doesn't. It maybe has like one or two songs that are up in the upper echelon that I'm hoping you guys also saw the value in at some point when we're ranking this album. But I think it is very listenable, and Brush Away is one of the most re-listenable songs on the album.
I totally agree with that.
Buckles.
I'm going to go the other way. And part of it, Brando, you kind of hit it right on the head at the outside of the episode where you mentioned this is the first stoner or doom, or not stoner, but sludge considered. And to me, it's very true. It's very apropos because most of these, especially the first three songs on the album, are just straight sludge to me. And personally, I'm not a fan of that style. I'm not discounting it, not saying that it's bad, not saying that it's, bad for the song or anything.
You're saying it's just not your taste.
It's not my taste at all. Sludge and the kind of like, my only notes for this is really they use a lot more harmony on this than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just have the harmony on the chorus. They don't just have a harmony on the verse or a bridge. It's all harmony all the time.
Right.
Just wait.
The entirety of the song.
Just wait. I've
They
got
do
something
it
to say later.
more, but it's so drony and just it's the same. It's this that drone that grind to it. It's like it's not my style at all.
Well, see, can I add something to that?
Sure.
I think the reason why I enjoy it so much, and I'm not speaking for you, Nate, but I think it might be kind of that it is drony, because like when you're driving around in the car, the radio anymore at this point we're so overstimulated with everything going on around us, our phones, all that it's really, really good background noise that's not white noise. You know what I mean? At least for me.
There's something to be said to that. The problem that I run into is that, I can joke about the ADHD brain, but when I listen to something that's a lot of drone or a lot of sludge that sounds very similar to me, it does become white noise in the sense that I just stop paying attention to it.
That's a bummer.
Like, it's just like there's one song later on this album that I had to listen to twice when I was doing my ranking because I literally stopped paying attention halfway through the song. Like, I lost interest in the song entirely. I do want to say there's a couple lines in the song. I was like, is this about him picking up a date as a kid? Like, there's some weird lyrics in this. Like, it's talking about it's like standing on the front porch and asking for permission. Like, is this his prom date? What is this?
What you gonna rank that, Buckles?
I gave it a 5.5.
TY.
7.75.
Nate.
Motherfucker wrote the same exact thing as I did.
My man.
7.75. I gave away some of my other ranks coming up, god dang it, but
You couldn't see.
You could see it.
okay.
It was kind of washed out by your ring light, and I also gave it a 7.75.
My man.
Don't get used to that.
What'd you give it, JB? Oh, okay.
It sounded like somebody just like she ran into something.
Hey, can you please go? Can you please go? Thank you.
The next song, Sludge Factory, written by music by Cantrell and Kenny. I don't like the first vocals of this song. And this song is a very mixed bag for me. I like some of the riffs and I like some parts of this song. But other stuff in this song, even though I can kind of agree with Buckles that maybe this isn't my forte, this isn't my cup of tea, I kind of enjoyed the first two songs way more than this is the first one where I got worried because we're still in the same kind of sound and we're losing some of the interesting bits, things that help make this interesting to me. But as always, I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, especially Nate, who thinks this is the best album ever. So Nate, give me, I'm teasing, but go for it.
Man, anyways, I like Sludge Factory. Like, what the fuck is wrong with anybody not liking this song or this album so far? Because to me, Sludge Factory, again, locking in, they're like, hey, we're different. We're doing something a little bit different. I think the lyrics, to me, just personally, like vibing on some of the things that are said, sounds like he's in a drug deal that they end up like doing drugs together with the dealer. Like he's about to inject heroin and his eyes cloud over and they're like just like both tripping out about it, whatever. And they're just kind of having this like drug fueled experience. And the Sludge Factory is in fact the sound. Like it's just that word, the title of this song could have been the album title flawlessly. You could have said Alice in Chains Sludge Factory coming out, and this could have been the title track, and it would have been badass. They didn't do that. That's okay. They went the self-titled route, tried to be like Metallica, had the Tripod album or whatever, but there's something about how Layne is singing in this song. And
then it keeps going.
You know exactly what I'm saying. He keeps elevating it like he's building to something, and then it just breaks. And I think there's also parts of this song where he's talking maybe about a friend who could have not lived to a certain age, as there's lyrics that kind of allude to that, but it's not super clear. But the chorus, the way that chorus is sang is just, man, it hits me so good. I didn't see that. I tried to see it. I
saw the heart on there.
Yeah.
That was a heart and the word chorus.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. But I really enjoyed this song. That's pretty much my thoughts. I'm gonna stop journeying on.
Buckles.
I'm kind of with you, Brando. It was a mixed bag for me in that there's parts of it I like, or at least can appreciate, but parts of it I'm like, again, this whole like the first 3 songs on the album just blend together, and not in a good way for me. I like the kind of bluesy, like the word like picking solo, like it's a little more clear tone than what they usually do. So I mean it's something different. I can appreciate Cantrell trying to do something a little bluesier.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bass on the outro. Like the bass line's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, honestly, I got less drug deal and more like going to work 9 to 5 deal. Like this felt like going into a job you hate. Like I don't know, Tyler, I don't know if you can relate to that, but it feels like
they all suck, man.
Like it just feels like this, like not necessarily corporate job, but just like I don't want to be here. I'm being paid to be here. I'm just doing this to get this out of the way, kind of shit. Like that 9 to 5 grind sludge factory in a way. But again, the first 3 songs on this album, grind I liked, but the longer it went on, it seemed like grind just became the motif of the first 3 songs, and they just blend together in a way that's just like, okay, I'm kind of ready to move on now.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you rank it?
I gave it a 5. Solid 5.
TY.
7.75.
7.75. Nate.
8.25 because he might not live past 25, so I gave it 25.
Gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Gave it a 6. The next track. Second single. Sometime in 96. Just generally. Around that time.
That could be the name of a good grunge album. Sometime in 96.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is another Jerry song with some help from Mike Inez here. Jerry wrote the lyrics for Heaven Beside You. And I actually don't have a lot to say about this song, and I don't like it as much as I thought I did. I don't hate it. And in fact, I think it's one of the better songs on the album. I love the twanginess of this song. And the only thing that I found myself not digging were the lyrics. for the chorus, they came off as a little bit cheesy. And I don't know. I've heard the song. This is the song that coming into this, you've heard it 100 times. You know, it gets radio play all the time. This is a huge hit for them. It is a good song, so I don't rank it low. I was just surprised when this song came on. When I got into it, I wasn't as relieved as I thought I was going to be. And I'll leave it at that and pass the baton to Tyler.
You know, going into this, obviously, bam, you hit every nail on the head, square. It's the radio song. You know, obviously, it's one of their singles. In my notes, I put the, in parentheses, jam song, because it's kind of that, it's in the background, but it's not background noise. But everybody knows that song. You know, you're kind of tapping your foot or you know, snapping or tapping your leg along with the beat, just because it's so familiar. And going into this rank as a whole, this is the first time that I've honestly sat and listened to the album in order. You know, in one. Obviously, I listened to it a couple times, but in one setting, bam, I'm going to listen to this album. And I agree with you, Brandon. I ranked it super, super high, but maybe I don't love it as much as I did. It's one of those things like, you know, when you're a kid, maybe you love brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts, but now you're an adult. It's
Still
like,
do. Nope, still do.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, insert X flavor. It's like, man, maybe next time I want to get raspberry instead, you know, and I kind of think that's what this is.
I kind of feel like that if there was any song on this album that we're going to make a Alice in Chains playlist, this would probably be the song.
Absolutely.
For sure. But when you compare it, and maybe it's not fair to, but when you compare it to everything that has come before so far, and think about this, everything that has come before has been 2 albums and 2 EPs. That's not a lot compared to other bands, but they have struck gold on 2 albums and 2 EPs with songs that are playlist guaranteed.
Right.
And here we are. I'm not saying that Heaven Beside You wouldn't be on there, but right now, as we've not moved any further into their discography and we're thinking about what has come, when I think about the songs that are on that playlist, this one is kind of on the lower spectrum of my excitement.
Totally agree.
All right. Buckles, what you got for me?
Well, going to character of Playing Against Type, this is actually not only my favorite song on the album, but for a long time, this song was the only reason I would put this album on, period. And it's actually one of my favorite Alice in Chains songs because it's one of the first songs of theirs I heard. Like, this is one of the songs that got me into the band to begin with. And I still, to this day, it's one song that I will stop what I'm doing and sing along with it because I really do adore it. I love the fact that it is instantly recognizable. Like, it is memorable from the first notes of the song. And there's a kind of a vibe to it that always kind of cracked me up. And the whole song just seems like the whole point of the song is life sucks. Oh, well, like, it's just so completely apathetic and just like, yeah, life's shit, get over it, whatever. But it's so poppy at the same time. It's so fucking catchy and upbeat and poppy for a song that's so completely and utterly apathetic that it just always cracked me up.
Nate.
So, okay, to just get it out there, another fun track from Alice in Chains. But I'm going to say something that no one said here, so this is me making it known. The star of this song was their drummer, Sean Kenny, right? That's what the guy's name is? Yeah. He kills it in this song. There's so much subtlety to his tom work and his rhythm changes that are really clever. He also brings some real deep impact in that jam section there. So there's problems in your life that's fucked up, and I'm fine. That starting section is probably my favorite in the song because of the drums. They've got this like tribal beat going on while Layne is just throwing down these amazing lyrics. So to me, the other thing I would note about this song is that it is their radio hit. It is obviously one that, you know, if you're an Alice in Chains fan, but it's one that I think does sometimes just get overlooked. Brandon even said it. It's not one you would put if you had a top 10 playlist. It's probably not making that top 10, Jack.
But I think
real hard stretch to do it, but
you know, like a bot, like something that automatically a database is going to put this in a top 10. But like any of us, like obviously Buckles aside because he's got to be that guy, but you know, a robot would put it in the top 10. Us,
well, thanks, Tyler.
us maybe
I'm the
not.
robot here.
Yep. Buckles is a robot.
Buckles.
Okay, yep.
Bot.
Yep,
I do want to point out something
Buckles
kind
is a robot.
I do want to point out something that's kind of interesting about this is how out of place this track is on the rest of the album.
Yeah, for sure.
This makes me feel like this should have been on Jar of Flies. This would have been much more at place with one of those EPs than it is on the rest of this album.
Nate, would you rank it?
I gave her a 9.
TY.
Gave her 9.
Buckles.
9.5. I know.
9.5. I gave it an 8.
Solid.
The next track, Head Creeps. This song was written by Layne Staley. The music, the lyrics, and I don't like it. And I'm going to tell you why.
I'm right there with you.
I don't like it either.
The chunky, bendy riffs are catchy, but the vocals are not doing it for me. And I'll tell you why. This is the first time I wrote it down, and it's all over this record like flies on cow shit. It's not the harmonies. It's they're doubling Layne's voice. It's doubling, and it sounds awful on him. Okay? What it does, and maybe, because this is kind of what you see somewhat maybe in the Unplugged session, where he's not projecting as much as he used to. He's not doing as many dynamic things with his voice. I'm gonna sound like I'm hating here. He drones on this album.
Yep.
It does not work for me.
Yes.
You have no idea how many times I turned this album on and turned on Garth Brooks. You have no idea how many times I had to go refresh my palate with Hall & Oates.
Completely agree with you.
I'm serious, and I'm joking, but I'm serious. This album, tonally.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry. Now
I'm serious.
I need.
All of those broke
I know I need some kind of an Alice in Chains cover of Maneater now. I have to have that.
What I got you.
Oh God, yes.
All right. No. All right. So the doubling of the vocals, they still do the harmonies with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the harmonies are still there. They're still prevalent. They are a part of the Alice in Chains sound, and they will continue to be even further into the future. Even with the newer iteration of the band that we will eventually get to.
Right.
They are there. Them doubling Layne's voice lessens his voice to me, and it made me not want to listen to him.
There's something really about this album that feels like, and I think it is that double tracking the voice. It sounds like a move that you would see a really new band, like a grunge, like a garage band trying just to get something different. There's something about this song that makes me feel like it should have been on Facelift. Like there's something about that vibe, that like early garage rock vibe to it. Like they're just trying to make it sound like what they want to without really knowing what to do with it. And it just feels lesser because of it.
TY, what you got for me?
My notes here, not a whole lot. I'm just gonna tell you like it is. This is not a good song. 1995 called, and it wants its song back because it does not belong in 2022 because it's garbage. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Only thing I've got to add is I did like the drums in it. That's about it. Like the drums are cool.
Trash.
Nah.
Teasing. I'm teasing.
Nate, I see you over there shaking your head. Share your thoughts, buddy.
Okay, so a lot of what you guys said is very valid, right? It does drone on. It isn't necessarily the best song.
It's garbage.
I don't,
It needs more Hall & Oates.
it needs
Needs more Hall & Oates. It needs some
It
pep.
is.
We
Need
need
some
the
salt and
Call &
pepper.
Oates. We need
Push
the
it
Call &
real
Oates hotline.
good.
The Call & Oates hotline there. Just get a little Call & Oates in your life. But I don't know what the fuck he's singing about. I'm gonna keep it real too. Like what?
He's got the head creeps.
But I like the song. I don't know. I like the jam. I enjoy the energy and the music and the vibe, and I didn't rate it very harshly. I think I rated it pretty decently considering what I rated some of the other songs. But I thought Head Creep was a fun track that just has that. I think it's in the guitar too, because there's that like it's continuous. The guitar is always doing something. It's very movie and not like a movie, but moving, and not like moving me emotionally, but like it just has movement there. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't hate it. I did not hate this song. I gave it a 7.25.
Unfortunately, Nate, 5.5.
That's okay.
Give it a 6.5 just because I had a little more groove than just sludge, and I like the drums, but 6.5.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, that's very fair, I think.
The next song. Again.
Oh my God.
Again, with the droning on. And the doubled vocals for Layne do not work in comparison to the harmonies. Sorry, it's the way it is. But it's chunky and catchy enough to kind of be on the very lower spectrum of some of the better songs on this record. There were 3 singles on this album: Grind, Heaven Beside You, and Again.
I wondered if this was a single. I couldn't
Huge mistake. They had a giant missed opportunity.
I disagree with you. I think those are some of the better songs that they could have put as singles. The rest on here is just droning on and drivel, and I don't think any other song comes even close to being a single compared to the 3.
I'm curious to hear what you think it is. If it's not this one, I want to hear what it is.
I am also curious, but that's
I'm
all I
very
got to say
curious.
about Again. And Nate, I'm going to start with you. What do you got for me?
I actually didn't like Again. I thought it was kind of a trash song. I really didn't like the song. It drones on throughout. I did not rate it terribly, but I didn't give it great marks. It's like a C+ in my book. But it's like, you know what it is? It's like that kid who, he's not an A student, and he's not. Okay, so I'm talking about myself here. He's not a B student, but you're like, hey, he's trying, so we'll give him good marks for trying. That's what this song is. I give it good marks for trying, but there's not really any one thing that stands out to me as like locked in. Oh man, I need this to be in my life. The drums, meh. There's nothing really super memorable. The guitar work, not super memorable.
Any differing opinions from you, Buckles?
I like the drums, I guess, a little bit more. The breakdowns are there's almost a dancey feel to them. Like it's a little poppier on the breakdown parts. The weird thing for me when I was listening to this, I started playing the song and I stopped it halfway through. I'm like, this sounds like another Alice in Chains song. I still can't put my finger on what one it reminds me of.
I thought for a second you were going to say this sounds like a Hall & Oates song I heard once before.
No.
Actually, I have something about it sounding like something.
But I when I'm playing it, I stopped it halfway through and I got on my Alexa thing and said, hey, replay the first 3 songs on this album. Like I'm going, did I just hear this? I don't know if it's the riff, it's the tone. Something sounds like it's very similar to another Alice in Chains song. It bugging the shit out of me. I can't figure out what it reminds me of. But I thought it was really close. Like it seemed really close to all three of the beginning songs on this album, and that's not a good sign to me when I'm getting it confused as I'm listening to it with another song on the album.
I think I know what it sounds like. By the way,
hit me.
There's a part, and it's not an Alice in Chains song at all. There's the poppy part where it's ooh or whatever, like they get that weird thing going on. Is Metallica stole it for "I Disappear" towards the middle end of that song.
I could see that.
It's got like real similar vibes.
What was giving me that vibe of sounding like it was the intro, it was the beginning of the song more than the breakdown. So I don't know what it is about that opening riff sounds like something else they've done, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something that was just bugging the hell out of me. But beyond that, like that's the only thing I remembered about the song is it's a little poppier, it's a little catchier, it's got a little more life to it than some of the other songs on this album. But that doesn't make it necessarily memorable. It just makes it better than something I didn't like.
Ty.
I'll make this quick. I rated it real high just because in my notes here, classic because of a technicality. I've got Spotify pulled up right here. I'm looking at it. The song has 12 million plays on Spotify. There's a reason for that. It's not, that's just Spotify, 12 million plays. It earned it. I don't love it, but obviously there's 12 million people that have played it at least once, so it can't be that bad.
I would probably make if I was to make a playlist of Alice in Chains, this one might actually make it. I don't know that it would, but it might. I can see it being a single, and I can see it being catchy enough to get single airplay.
It's never been one of my favorites. Hits or singles, personally, but I do not hate it. I gave again a 7.5. Ty, would you give it?
9.5.
9.5. Buckles.
7.5. Same.
7.5. Nate.
6.25. Sorry, guys.
Shame in You is the next track.
What a ranking, and you just call me out right after, bro.
What a terrible porn name. Shame in You.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
Oh.
Just savor that for a minute there. I like that.
I thought this was a Jerry song.
It is not. And as far as lyrics go, obviously Jerry had a hand in writing every song except for Head Creeps. But no, I saw a video of Family Feud, and it was like it was like that thing at the end where they're doing where they have to do the timing, and it was like name something that you leave, or name a word that you would put after. Or name something that you would leave it, like leave it alone. Like I'm sorry if I'm messing that up, but the dude said leave it in, and it broke Steve. Like he couldn't even finish. The countdown kept going, and like they ran out of time. Like he just was like he's stumbling. Like what? Anyways, Shame in You. Here's my notes. It's not very long. The double vocals strike again for me and they disrupt what sounds like it could be a decent, slower song. I don't like the vocals whatsoever, and it's literally it is that double layered. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't hit like the good harmonies did. I think maybe what they were trying to do, and maybe this is just me pulling ideas out of a hat, try to explain something that happened 20 years ago. Oh, cat. TY's cat.
Random pussy on the screen.
Yeah. TY's cat was in the studio and said, Layne, check this shit out. I hit this button while you were singing, and there were two of you. And Jerry's like, hey, less work for me to do. And then I think that's kind of what it was. I think they were trying to get like that constant, but it doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. And this song suffers for it. But that's all I got. I will pass it to Buckles.
I have two notes for this. One is power ballad vibes, and the other is forgettable. I couldn't tell you if I'm thinking about it right now. I probably couldn't tell you what the song sounds like. Like it made zero impression on me whatsoever.
Nate, can you tell me what it sounded like?
Boom. That's like the intro. It's got that like real weird, creepy.
That sounds like
And
two
then
other
he's
songs
like,
on this album.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
singing
know what
all
I
slow.
expected to hear when he asked you what it sounded like, but I'm not unhappy with that.
A slow, sad "I disappear" is what. Don't. Wow.
Yeah. That's
Wow, that song's now been mentioned more times than Metallica has.
Right.
But we've mentioned that song more times than Metallica has in the last 6 years.
Shaming you though. Honestly, I think that a young Mark Tremonti was listening to this song and got very inspired by some of the styles he would bring to, and I mean that, like, not necessarily in exact riff structure per se, but in tone, in the way he is moving some of his notes around. I could see Mark Tremonti definitely being influenced by this album.
I can't, but it's because of my impression of Mark Tremonti. My impression of Mark Tremonti is very good at what he does and very, very technically proficient, but it's 1 foot standing up on the amp and playing to his mirror because that's all he's looking at. Is he just wants the audience to see him just wanking this guitar off. I'm not a Tremonti fan at all. And this
we're never ranking Alter Bridge with Buckles.
I don't dislike Alter Bridge, but I'm not a Tremonti his style fan. And I can't dig the comparison because this isn't what's the good word for it? This isn't as self-preening. This isn't as peacocky as Tremonti is.
Wow.
Self-preening, yeah.
Peacocky.
Yeah, suck on that, yeah. Self-preening.
What's that, Sonny? You said something about bukkake? Pardon me. I was in the other room shaving my carrots.
What I thought he was gonna say. He was shaving.
Where the fuck did that come from?
That, I'll tell you right now, that came from the depths of my subconscious, and that's the stuff that's going on in the back of my brain while you guys are talking.
Oh, Tyler, your brain is a terrifying place.
Oh God, it's a violent hellscape. While everyone else is wiping tears of joy away and whatnot, I'll go ahead and jump in here. I'll just tell you right now, I didn't rank this very high. I didn't enjoy this song. In my notes here, I put, obviously, I got to throw the quotation marks in there. Sorry, just not my cup of tea. Doesn't feel right. It just, the whole, and I think this is actually a song that I listened to individually a couple times just to, maybe I'm not in the right place. Maybe I'm not in the right mindset. I gave this song a lot of chances and it just never grabbed me. And, that could be just, I'm not compatible necessarily with that style or that vibe, but I didn't enjoy it.
Would you give it there, bud?
5.
Buckles.
5, same.
Nate.
8.75. I like the song.
Don't be ashamed to be who you are, Nate.
Yeah, well.
Hi, are you sure you don't want any carrots? I shaved them fresh.
I don't. No, he does not want your bukkake carrots.
I shaved them with this rock I found.
This was an
at the bus
episode of
stop.
Journey into Comics. It would definitely be titled Bukkake Carrots.
I shaved them fresh.
Well, I'm going to give you a nice big 6er carrot. I gave it a 6. So you don't have to worry about no 8.75 carrot. That's
God.
a big carrot. And
Stop comparing yourself to my carrot.
That's very sexual. It's very sexual.
Look at this stash.
got Goddamn. That's the name of the next song is Goddamn.
Very human.
Very human. God damn it.
Very human. Very easy to use.
Goddamn. So this song, I want to like it more than I do, but I
God
don't.
Damn it, Tyler.
This song has some really weird vocal noises that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I have disliked the vocals for most of this record.
Yeah.
So this is the song that has made it move from dislike to distaste.
Yeah.
I don't like it, and that's my stance. I don't.
No, I'm laughing at Tyler's expression when you said weird vocal noises. you see him thinking of things to do next. I'm sorry.
Ty, you go next.
I'll jump in here next, because I have the full supply of oxygen. I think for me, I was kind of thinking about the best way to articulate it. And you know, when you're carrying something in the dark, and you go to step, and maybe like it's walking down your sidewalk or whatever, and you miss a step and you kind of stumble. The way that it makes your body feel as you're like starting to fall. That's this song. That's the vibe that I got from this song, because just like the last one, it is not very good, and we basically hit the peak and we're already going back down the hill.
So panic-induced falling.
Panic-induced falling. Not feeling it.
We can't panic that much because we didn't really go that high up the hill. This isn't a very big hill.
Right.
I mean, this is barely going to give you the little tummy tickles when you drive over it. So
yeah, but there's some carrots down there.
I'm all on carrots.
Got a whole load of carrots
with some wild asparagus,
wild oats,
wild Hall & Oates. If this album had more. If this album had more of Oates' mustache, if every member of this band had Oates' mustache, it would have been magical. Ty, thank you for that. Buckles, what you got for me?
I had the drums are fun, but you're back to the sludge again in this. It's sarcastic. There's a little bit of snark to it. It gives me a little bit of the attitude that they had in Dirt, like the little bit of just some of that kind of piss and vinegar that they were kind of missing through the rest of the album. The inner child in me thinks that the play on the word "goddamn" is funny, so there's that. I do like the line "World dies, I still pay taxes." I think that's a funny line.
Yeah.
Beyond that, song is a complete wash. So. A couple funny lines. Drums aren't bad. There was at least some attitude to it, but swing and a miss.
Nate, can you wash up this turd?
Bro, it opens with a bong rip. You can't be mad at it. A massive.
Hey, but what if it's like a dirty, nasty, like high school bedroom, like there's like McCormick's grain alcohol in the bong. Like it's not good. It's not good, my man.
He goes to reach for the bong and accidentally grabs the used Pringles can next to it.
God damn it! God damn it, Brandon! I was gonna make that joke. You beat me to the fucking joke. God damn you!
Who are you?
1 second.
I was gonna make the goddamn Pringles joke.
He lit the Pringles cans, taking a hit from the can.
No!
I was gonna say it's the bong made of you hope like a Pepsi can or
This bong
Pepsi
water
can.
salty.
No, this was he used a tab can. He used a fucking tab can. Oh God. Well, are we done with the sexual references?
Yep.
Are we done with that?
I think that this song is pretty, not to accidentally bring a sexual reference back into it, but fluid. I think
damn
fluid
it.
is a good word.
Is it viscous? Is it viscous, Nate? It's just slightly sticky.
Was this that hit? Was this that hit? power ballad Silent Fluidity.
I don't know. Would the song taste like pineapple? Like,
God damn. At least they put some effort into.
they didn't even get the pleasure. Nate's gone. Well, I kept my streak alive. I've got Nate to walk off the show.
There we go. That's all that matters. Nate.
God damn, I gave it an. You don't make fun of me. Shut the fuck up. Before I gave you, and you type all these numbers. God damn it. I gave it an 8.420.
Oh, shut up.
What are you, a Russian skating judge? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I give it 4 star, giant star, plus 0.15 star.
I give it giant star fighting with bear. It's okay.
I only give it 1 star, but it's a big star.
I rated this before the bong rip became a thing with the Pringles can. So the 420 at the end was good, not disgusting.
Tyler's regretting ever having told us that story. Oh my god.
There's only a few stories that I'll ever be able to escape from.
That's
And
not gonna be one of them.
that's not one of them.
No.
You're promising you tell it to people who think that shit's funny.
I just can't help it. Man, I'd love to tell that story. I don't know if it's my turn or not.
Go for it. Give me your
Because you guys love the Pringles can. I'm just gonna fucking tell it like it is. I hated this song. It's a 4. It sucked.
Just so you know, thanks to Blaine, 4 is equal to no. 4 is no status, as in just no.
Okay, 3.5.
No. So it's worse than no.
Well, I don't. Okay, it's 4.5.
Okay,
It's
so
totally better than no.
I don't want to agree with Blaine.
Well,
That's what he's saying here, folks. At the end of the day, no matter what, he doesn't agree with Blaine.
Blaine's on my bowling team. That starts next week, and I've already contemplated kicking him off.
he goes.
First time he throws a gutter ball, you should be like, quit the team right now.
That fucking get out of here, you filth.
He says, "Put me lower, put me higher, just not the same." I don't want to.
The fact that your
4.5.
your mic is clipping so much, all I hear is rage.
Sorry.
No, it's fitting. It's really fitting, though.
Buckles, what'd you give it?
7.5. I had to look and see what song we were still talking about. I'm sorry.
I gave it a 4.
Oh, Christ.
Thank you.
I gave it a 4, and I will keep it there. So that way I could drag that score down even further because it's dangerously too close to shaming you in score, and it's not fair to shaming you. So close, but yet so far away. We're not done with this record yet. So close is the next song. Another Cantrell Kenny classic here. I'm going to echo Buckles' sentiment from earlier. Forgettable. This song is forgettable. I don't remember this song, and it sounds like songs on this album are starting to blend together from the next. And that's all I got. I'll pass it to Nate.
The next couple, I'm actually in full agreement with. So close, not memorable. I think it got a decent score from me because if you played it for me, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I like that song. It's decent. But ask me anything about it right now, and I am drawing a literal blank.
I'll jump in next. There is only one memorable thing from the song, for me at least, and maybe you guys didn't pick it out specifically, but this song immediately overstimulated me, and the snare, all I could hear was the fucking snare, and I feel like the dude had both sticks in his hand, just fucking, and it's like, hey man, did you know that I have a snare drum? Like, hey man, I hit this thing with some sticks.
And that's what inspired Lars to not use the snare sound for saying that.
Yeah, dude, it's just so bad.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The only notes I have is finally some up tempo. Like, there's at least this is not just chugging sludge, but
I for sure love the tempo, but god damn it, all I can hear is the snare drum.
Last track was goddamn, bro.
Mhm.
I also put the theme of this record seems to be like such is life and just going through motions. Like, again, kind of going back to that vibe with Heaven Beside You, where it's like, yeah, life sucks. This is kind of just shit. Like, everything. This whole album is like everything sucks, but I don't really care that much.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's running out of steam. I think the one, at least for me, the one, like, I guess like bright like horizon of this album is, it's a good representation of, hey, this dude's like that, like he don't have nothing left. He's empty.
He's kind of on the last legs here.
You know what I mean?
The sad thing is it's kind of pervasive to the entire band. Like,
yeah.
That same idea of every song sounding the same, and like the idea that everything just kind of blends together. It's like this whole record is just like they're putting effort into it, but it's not like they're putting effort into it because they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're putting effort into it because, hey, we have to make a record now.
Right. Well, and Layne's dragging them down too.
It could very well be.
We got some ranks on this sucker. Who wants to go first?
5.25.
Everybody at once now.
Yeah, 5.25 from Nate.
I gave it a 6.
6 from Buckles. TY.
4.
I gave it a 6. The next song is called Nothing Song. And this is where I wrote, this album seems to be droning on and on with uninspired vocals. Maybe I'm missing the mark here. But this album as a whole is just really unappealing to me. We're not getting to Van Halen 3 levels of bad from a benchmark, because occasionally the music does something interesting. Whereas that album, really nothing was interesting about that album. I actually went back and, I already have my album average, and I've given albums worse averages than this.
Right.
But really? Yes, actually, and I will say that even on the there were other albums in the Van Halen rank that my average was less than this, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, and I hate to say this, I just am not enjoying this record. So that's all I got from Nothing Song, and I'll pass it to Buckles.
I think there's actually something kind of addictive in this, and that the chorus has the line, "Nothing song sticks to your mouth like peanut butter on the brain." This song is meant to be brainless. This is a nothing song. This is going through the motions. This is just saying, hey, this is song A. Song B will come after song A. Insert tab A into slot B. I don't care anymore. This song kind of reminds me again of going to work. And it even feels like, give the guy a break over here, walked over there, talks to this person. Like, they're name dropping random people in the song. Like, this feels like a shitty work day. And that's not what I want to hear in any stretch of the word.
Funny that you say that, actually.
Go for it, Nate.
Well, he said he's talking about doing the take at 7:38, right? So it is a shitty day at work. He's not having a great time. He's stuck there. He keeps making mistakes. He's unhappy. He's sharing with you an experience when he was stuck doing the thing he loved till he hated it, and doing it over and over and over again. If you cut a majority of the same thing that happens 3 times in a row out of this song, all the verses and choruses that just stack on top of each other over and over again, it would be a very nice condensed little jam. like just one verse, one chorus, one verse, one
Right.
chorus, get out of Dodge.
Mhm.
It's not that at all. It's a whole lot of not that. And the you guys said it best. Nothing song is nothing. So Buckles.
I give it a 6.
I'm gonna go right in my notes. Too much. 2 words. Too much. It's unnecessary, and this shows with my rank 4.
No.
Nate,
I gave it a 5.
5. I also gave it a 5. Only two more, fellas. Frogs. The song is
Ribbit.
called Frogs. Ribbit.
Ribbit.
You know,
Yeah, this is.
croaked for our
Yeah.
sins. This is the only song that I found in the slower, muddy style
I think we've already got Tyler's opinion.
that sounds somewhat inspired. However, it goes on 4 minutes longer than necessary. Why is this song 8 minutes long?
This,
My notes. 8 minutes. Really? Question mark.
This is the song that I stopped paying attention to mid song.
I'm not surprised.
I was when I'm doing my rankings, I put it up on YouTube and put it on my TV so I can watch the lyrics as well. And I realized, like, oh yeah, the song's still playing, and I'm on Facebook. Like,
Mhm.
I've stopped paying it. I've completely disconnected from the song at this point. Like,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's just it's too long, and it's even if you cut the song in half, there's still nothing there.
Yeah,
It's
I
just-
agree.
The lyrics are damn near unintelligible. There's just droning sludge, and it's just nothing. It's music on recording. That's
I had a hard time understanding the lyrics too.
There's a lot of songs on this album that the lyrics I almost needed to have them on screen to know what the fuck was going on. I'm not sure if it's this one or it may have been another song where there's just like random talking. It seems like, but it's so garbled and so like washed out. It's like, yeah, it's noise. It's gibberish. There's nothing. If you're saying something, I don't know what it is. And I personally cannot stand stuff like that. So
Nate,
Frogs.
I'd,
Yep. I don't remember it.
here's your ranking. I'd rather listen to Frogs 2. Give it a 2. I'd rather listen to actual Frogs.
so you're giving this song a 2.
I am giving the song a 2.
All right. Tyler,
I'm
what's your
putting more
score?
effort into it than it deserves.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
3.5. Nate,
I'm giving it a 4.45 because I'm weird.
That's something Blaine would do. 5 out of 7. I'm edgy. I'm edgy. Hey,
I'm not doing it to be edgy. I'm doing it to be random. There's a difference. I didn't think about it when I wrote it down. I just said, I'm going to write these numbers and hope it sticks.
gave it a 5.
I wrote 2 with some anger behind it.
The last song is Over Now, and
not fast enough.
so I actually have some interesting notes here. Is this an Alice in Nirvana style mashup song?
Could be. Could very well be.
When I heard the music, it was kind of a mix, and I said, sound-wise, this song sounds like it doesn't belong on this record.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear the record this song was supposed to be on.
Yeah.
Because this, I believe it was Heaven Beside You, Buckles, you said that song didn't sound like it belonged.
Yep.
This is its sister. In fact, this is clear. It's not muddy. It's not sludgy. It is completely different. And it is long. It's like 7 minutes. And there's some like clips and there's some stuff here that are that kind of drag it out. But I was so surprised by the tone shift that I actually liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it maybe I actually talk myself into giving it a lower rank. But I was so surprised by it and that I was like, man, I'm actually liking this. I got excited because I literally since Heaven Beside You, I haven't heard something that I really liked. and then I finally got something that I think my gut reaction or my gut rank was to slap some love on this because I wanted to love something on this record, and I finally have something that I can give something, even if the length could probably knock it down a notch. But I'm gonna keep it as it is, and I'm gonna ask Buckles what he's got to say.
Again, the first thing I have is different vibe than the rest of the album. This and Heaven Beside You could easily have been put with Jar of Flies, and it would have been not out of place. And point of fact, I kind of would have liked Jar of Flies as a full-length album rather than the EP if we didn't get the rest of this to go along with it. To be completely honest, it's got kind of a classic rock sound to it in points. It's a lot more mellow. The thing that stood out to me the most, though, was that throughout the rest of the album, this and Heaven Beside You are the only ones that Jerry really sings on. And the first thing that people always think of with Alice in Chains is Layne Staley, and for good reason. But these two songs, giving the album that different vibe and that different feel, really shows you how much Jerry's vocals matter to the band as much as Layne's do, and how much this album seemed to be missing a lot of that.
He wrote the lyrics for this song. He wrote the lyrics for Heaven Beside You. He wrote the lyrics for Grind.
Yeah.
Some of the better songs on the album.
The only
Grind,
I rated highly, yeah.
Grind, Heaven Beside You, and this one for me. So I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on Layne because the dude's a legend. The dude was one of the greatest frontmen of all time. But we could tell where he was in his headspace, and we've said that before. And obviously he got to really flex what was on his mind, and it was probably very healthy for him at the time to do.
Especially considering that in going into Dirt, he hadn't written all that much.
Yeah. Yes.
He really was just kind of getting a start there. So this is his first real chance at going into that full songwriting stuff. I feel like the album loses a little bit because it doesn't have that balance between Layne and Jerry that you have on the other albums. This is more of the Layne show, and I think it's lesser because of it.
Kind of, yeah. Nate, what do you got, bud?
Man, hey, y'all remember way back when I was like, Again was the third single? What the? This doesn't make any sense. There should be a different one. This is the one. This song is incredible. It has a catchy chorus. I love that it has a whole shift with the "we pay our debt sometime" bit. I love that there's the really soft picked guitar solo that shifts into this really like interesting overtone guitar lead thing.
Let me say something. Let me clarify because I remembered what I meant by the Nirvana Alice mashup. The clean guitar and the dirty guitar are playing at the same time. And the dirty guitar isn't overpowering.
Yes.
If you take the clean guitar alone, it sounds like Nirvana, like a Nirvana song from like Around in Utero or something.
Yep.
But then if you listen to the heavier proportion, it sounds a little bit more like Alice. This is where I feel like they're doing the fusion and it sounds really cool to me, and I liked it. Nate, continue. Sorry.
This is a song that I go over and over and over listening to again and again and again. I went back multiple times because again, this was the first time listening to the full album. So I didn't know this song at all. And I heard it and I was like, okay, different. And then I'm at work after I had heard it the first time and I'm like singing it kind of, but I don't really know the words because I'd only heard it the one time. I'm like, when I drive home, I'm gonna listen to that fucking song, and I couldn't remember. I was like, oh, it's over now. That's right. And I like go to the end, put it on, listen to it like 17 times in a row, and I was like, you know what? This is a smash. This would have been a smash hit. And there's only, in my opinion, one thing that took away from it, but we'll talk about it.
Nate, does this remind you of the same feeling that you and I got when we would find those hidden gems from Van Halen? When we would listen to the full album and go, I never heard this, but this song is better than almost everything on the album, even better than some of their hits, and it should be on a playlist.
Ice Cream Man, just saying.
Ice Cream Man, exactly.
Similar vibes for sure. Big Bad Bill, Sweet William now.
Yes, exactly. TY, what you got, bud?
My biggest notes for this song are 7 minutes for what could be a 1 minute outro. Like, I dig this. I do. Everything that you and Nate said, I'm about it. I just don't need it. I don't need the last song on the album to be 7 minutes. You know, I think I've I've made it pretty clear. I think at least for my listening pleasure, there's. I mean, I'm not listening to Tool here. I don't need a 7-minute long song.
I was just gonna say that actually. You and I talked about Tool before.
For sure.
That's what kills me about them is and
if I'm listening to Tool, I love it. But this isn't the same. And I think that is the only thing that struggles for me is the length. I love it otherwise.
The only metal band that I can listen to a 7-minute long song is Metallica, Circa 1. That's about it. Beyond that, I'm tuned out after about 4 minutes, and that could be ADD, could be the fact that it's just too damn long. But that's just my taste. I don't think it's a bad song. I don't think it's a great song, but I would have to disagree with Nate about it being a single, just because a 7-minute single is going to.
They would have had a radio edit, Buckles. Come on.
When was the last time you heard a radio edit of Metallica 1 or a Tool song?
For back in the 90s, it would have had a radio edit.
Yep.
Fair.
All right.
Yeah.
Buckles, what'd you rank it?
I gave it an 8. This is the song that should have been on Jar of Flies with Heaven Beside You.
Tyler, what'd you rank it?
7.
Nate, what'd you rank it?
9.25, and that's the only reason it did not get a 10. The only reason it did not get that illustrious 10 is because there's an unplugged album coming up that spoilers.
I gave it an 8.5, which concludes the self-titled Alice in Chains record.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I gotta get to my carrots.
Yeah, it is over now. Brando's average rank was 7.33, or no, I'm sorry, 6.3333333333.
You gotta say them all.
Nate's average rank was 7.23.
Doctor wasn't higher, honestly.
Tyler, yours was 6.1666.
Oh shit, dog.
Of course it was.
And Buckles, your average rank was 6.33333333. We have a matching rank.
That's rare.
Yes, especially since our ranks are even though we agreed on a lot of the tone, we didn't agree on the same songs or this or that or even so the same ranks. That gives us a master rank for this album at a 6.5, and that makes it the lowest. Lower than SAP, and we weren't very favorable to SAP at all. Yeah. All things considered, but I mean, it was only a 4-song thing. The lowest ranking song was Nothing song. No, Frogs.
Yeah, I was just
Frogs.
It was Frogs at 3.7. That is low.
Me giving it a 2 does not help any of that.
No, sorry, I saw that singular 5 for Nothing and instantly went, oh, that's the lowest. The highest ranking song on the album was Heaven Beside You at 8.8. So
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, guys, thank you once again for joining me, joining us, all of you listening out there for going down this. Like, what were your ranks? What did you guys think of this album? It was very interesting. We were so hyped up for the last couple of episodes and really excited for us to get to this one where it's kind of more divisive. It's like we're trying to tread that water of like, we want to respect and we want to like honor what was and the greatness that was Alice in Chains and Layne Staley and all these guys. But at the same time, you have to be honest and voice what you hear, and that's where we're getting at. So, Buckles, thank you for joining us.
Not a problem. I got to say, I never expected an Alice in Chains rank them all to make me go listen to Hall & Oates.
There you go. TY, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks. I'll get back to my carrots.
Got to get back to your carrots. Nate, thank you for joining us. And where can they find Rank 'Em All?
You fine folks can check out Rank 'Em All on the different lovely podcasting platforms, whether it's iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Spotify, CastBox, TuneIn, many others. Just search Rank 'Em All podcast. Also go to rankemall.rocks. That's our .com where you can check us out. Don't go to the rankemallrocks.com because that's not what it is. Rankemall.rocks. That's how you get to us. We've got a bunch of cool stuff, this year coming down the line. So make sure to stay in tune with us by subscribing. get us on YouTube, get us on Facebook. You want to check out what we've got going on. Maybe we're going to eventually cover a band you really love, a certain band that, what, Buckles? What's so fucking funny?
I was going to make another Hall & Oates joke.
Maybe we'll cover Hall & Oates. That's exactly what he was
I
gonna
would be
say.
down. I would be down.
Maybe, yeah.
I'll go down that rabbit hole.
I'll be down too.
Oh goddamn. The
Get
grunge
band back
group.
together.
The grunge group.
That'd be a funny irony, though. We rank this. The next time we do a rank together, it's Hall & Oates. Oh, that's awesome, Brando. Thank you guys so much for coming back, though. It's been a while since we've been able to do this. I will say this was maybe one of the funniest episodes we've had in some time. I don't think I've broke like that in a while.
It's funny to me that it's been so long since we recorded this episode, but since none of them have aired yet, there will not be a time jump at all.
No. See, you guys at home are none the wiser, and that is exactly the way we like it. You guys are going to hear this as it drops next week. You guys don't have to wait. You guys don't have to wait months or longer to record an episode, right, Nate? Right? 6 months, 8 months, however long it took. Yeah, a long time.
No one has to know that Tyler spent a month and a half in a mental ward.
Exactly. We don't know. No, we don't have to know at all. And
he's just peeling his carrots.
Just peeling those carrots.
I like carrots, man.
But again, thank you guys all for listening to this series. We really appreciate each and every one of you. This album, this rank, it is over now, and we want to,
Tyler's putting tape over.
Tyler's tape face.
Well, I need to get off this episode and go unplugged, and that's what we're covering next week.
Ooh.
Alice in Chains
look at
Unplugged.
You beautiful, beautiful bastard.
We're not done with Layne yet. We got the Unplugged, and we're going to be ranking some of the extra tracks that have not been released on Music Bank. We're not doing the whole thing because there's a lot of repeats, but Layne is going to be sticking around here for a little while longer. So until then, guys, we will see you then. Thank you again. Later on, guys.